everybody, my next guest has appeared in many comedy clubs across the East Coast and is co-hosted on the legendary Fingers Metal Shop on WBAB 102.3 radio. And on July 19th, he'll be performing at the Giggle Room at Governor's Comedy Club on the Clash of the Islands with Mike BOCCHETTI and friends. Here he is, folks, the great Tony Landolfi. Tony, what's up, man?
Hey, buddy, how are you? Thanks for having me. I really appreciate it.
Dude, I appreciate this, man. You are a staple in the Long Island comedy scene. You've been around for a couple of minutes, I'd say, and
I hope I've made at least a little bit of a mark on the Long Island comedy scene. So.
Dude, I think so, man. I remember you've been around for at least what I'd say 20 years or so.
A little over 20 years, yeah.
Yeah, man. Because I remember you when I first started doing comedy. I did comedy very briefly. I was a blip in the in like the early 2000s, late 90s, early 2000s, and I'm pretty sure you were around then. I was mainly McGuire's and stuff like that, and yeah, just open mic level. I think I got paid for one gig in my life, but I remember you and being like, man, like I was aspiring to be to your level because I think you were starting to pop, like you were starting to get, your name was starting to break and all that. Yeah.
Yeah, that's starting to get a little recognition back then. Yeah. Back
Good times.
Thanks, John Ryerson over at when he had McGuire's. Yeah,
those were some good times back in the days of McGuire's, man.
It was. A lot of people, they all have stories about it, but I look back at it fondly, mainly because that's where I met Karen, my wife. So.
Oh, there you go. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Was she a comic too? Did she work there?
She was the bartender at McGuire's. Yeah.
Nice, man. Yeah. I would go there. I think it was Thursday nights, man. It was the open mic. It was Saad Sarawana. You remember him?
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm not kidding. I actually do have a physics degree. I spent 4 years in undergrad getting my bachelor's in physics, another 4 years in graduate school in physics. Now I'm a comedian. My parents are very proud of me.
And the Wacky Packy, I think he was called or something like that. He was like, it was his, yeah. And then Jeff King Cole had the room for a while.
I remember doing shows for Jeff.
Well, now in your act, you do something a little bit odd that I haven't seen many other comics do, and that is something with plungers.
Yes.
Were you a plumber at one point?
No, I never worked with any plumbing supplies. At least not on television. No.
Oh my goodness.
But I do a very bizarre bit, and I noticed other comics using props, but they didn't really take it to that kind of nth degree.
They never took the plungers.
They never took the plunge.
Jeff Cole was my landlord for a little bit too. He owned a house in Brentwood, and I had rented the upstairs, and it was his house, but he stayed in the basement apartment, and and I had no idea he was in comedy, so it was just a weird thing. But
oh, really?
Yeah,
he wasn't walking around with plungers on his head, walking around, walking around the yard with plungers on his head.
But, dude,
do you know that I can date two women at the same time? I'm also available for bar mitzvahs. There's room for one more. First impersonation, Pinhead from Hellraiser. Madonna? Welcome to New York.
That was such like. Sometimes hacky is funny though, and even the sticking the plungers on your head.
If it's done right, and people like it. It's who is anybody to say what's funny and what's not funny? You know what I mean? There's people out there that tried the comedy and it didn't work, and then they went into the alt scene and they kill it, like in the alt scene,
Right? Yeah.
So there's too many people in the world for something not to be funny to anybody. Somebody's gonna find it funny,
I think most people that are the most critical of comedy are comedians. Those are the ones that are the most like judgmental, or oh, this guy didn't bare his soul, or this guy's a prop comic, or this. Where regular people that they just want to laugh.
I used to be like that. Now I'm at the point where I'm just like, listen, if they're laughing and they're having fun, those people bought a ticket to be entertained. And if you're doing that and that's what's going on, yeah, we know, everybody knows that that was a hack. Yeah, yeah, you're prop comic, but who cares? Just, do what you got to do. Let
I
them
was
have fun.
when you look at like prop comics and you see like Carrot Top, who's like the poster boy for that, and
Yeah,
he gets a lot of shit for it, whatever. But again, he's very successsul in
yeah.
Vegas and all that.
Guy's
But
a multi-millionaire. I think he's doing all right.
exactly, he's fine. He but if you think about what he does with those props, it's complex and it is creative and it is
It takes a lot of creativity and a lot of ingenuity to come up with those things. Yes, it does.
This is a party favor for someone that has asthma. I think George Carlin liked this one.
A lot of people are just like, man. I don't know if you ever remember the guy, the Great Wid. Remember him? He
yeah,
was a prop comic, and I mean, he needed a huge stage because he just had so much stuff up there. And when he got done, it looked like somebody set off a bomb at a garage sale. Like there was just stuff everywhere. And he was funny as hell, that guy.
Is it hot in here? Yes! Woo! Poo-poo! Okay, good. Here, bear right, bear left. Okay, good. All right, so right over there. All right, so here, I want to show you. This is Garfield the cat in the back of anyone's car. Okay, yeah, I like that. Okay, I like that ever since I was a little sucker. Okay, good. Little sucker. Okay, good. Right over there. All right, so was I ever a little sucker? Afraid not. All right, good. All right, so, afraid not. Right over here. Here's Knots Landing. All right, good. All right. Punches Pilot. Okay, good. All right, so right over there. Right here. This is Poultry in Motion.
it's like
I
Lenny
don't
Schultz.
judge.
Yeah,
Next one I was just about to say is Lenny Schultz.
Now Lenny Schultz performs his famous Ballet for Fishes.
Same thing. That guy he was a genius, Lenny Schultz.
he was an artist, man. Yeah,
He was. He was a true artist to the craft. And again, I found as I've gotten older, like the cynicism has dwindled away a bit and stuff like that. So I really don't. As long as the audience is having fun, that's all that matters to me.
it's funny when you go through those kind of phases, like of growth, kind of where at first you might be like judgmental about all the other types of different comedy that's out there, and then there comes a time when you just come to an understanding of as long as people are enjoying the show and everyone's happy, what's the big deal? Yeah,
That's it. Because you want them to come back when the next time you're around. You want them to come back. So as long as everybody's having fun and everybody on the bill is doing their job and people are laughing and they're being entertained, and that's it.
exactly, man.
Pour some sugar on me. No, 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 no. Pour some gracias sugar on me. Thank you, buddy. Yeah. God bless you.
Mike Bocchetti, we have the show. He's a huge fan of you. I mean,
I know Mike now probably about 20 years, and I love Mike to death. Mike is like one of the few people in this world who are true and genuine. Like Mikey does not have a malicious bone in his body. He is one of the most sweetest, caring people ever. He really is.
Thank you. You guys are fun, man. I love this. My dad wanted me to play football, but I don't want to wear another helmet. It's okay. You guys can laugh. I wrote this. I'm not autistic or any of that stuff or like Asperger's, whatever. I'm sorry if I can say that word. Sorry. I'll just say burgers instead of the first word. But
and he is. You ever seen Mike act in any of his like in movies like the movie Chooch or anything like? I used to say when we used to do shows a lot together, him and I, and I used to say he was like a savant. Like they call action, and all of a sudden, bang! Like this switch goes off in Mike's brain, and all of a sudden he becomes like this fantastic actor. It's amazing.
You know, Julie, they're in trouble.
some of us may not be coming back alive. What a piece of...
He is really good. I saw his reel, and I've seen some of the things he's done, and it is kind of like, yeah, I mean, he knows what the director wants, and he knows what to give, and he's just like you said, he's just really good.
Yeah, I love watching him on stage too. Like I could just sit in the back and just watch him, and I just laugh so hard watching him back. They do his thing because it's just so funny. It really is.
He is hilarious, and he's like a true original, you know, one of those type of guys where he's just, you know, the one and only, you know, of what he does.
When I first met him, my cousin Sal Garvinali, he introduced us, and Sal was like, "Listen, you know, don't be too like old, you know, with this guy. He's a little taking it back." I'm like, "All right, you know, what are you saying? I'm not overbearing or anything." He's like, "Just reel into Tony a little bit for this guy." I was like, "Oh, all right." And at first I was like, "Oh, I gotta watch with this dude. Like, I can't be all." And when I met him, I just loved him instantly.
So today, guys, we're making Italian roasted chicken.
Yeah, roasted chicken, baby.
Hold on, Mike, I'm not done.
Put chicken, yeah.
Italian roasted chicken.
Yeah, roasted chicken.
Mike, we're making shut up! We're making Italian roasted chicken.
Roasted chicken, baby. Yeah.
With rosemary.
Rosemary's a whole...
It hurts me that he lives so far away from me, because if he was closer to me, I would be hanging with him every day. I just love the guy. We hit it off, and I just took off running. We never looked back. I love the guy to death, and I'm so happy that he lets me be a part of his life.
Here we go, Mike.
Sal, this is like, I'm gonna shove this in my face.
I eat it. And the bride cuts the cake. How is that?
Bravo, bravissimo, Sal. Yeah.
You think it's an act, like when he's done off stage. You think what he's doing on stage is an act, and then when you get done off stage and you're hanging out with him, and he's still like, "Thank you," and you're like, "Oh shit, that's really him up there." that's not some kind of, you know, like when I go up there, that's just a dopey persona I put on up there. You know what I mean? But with him, that's what you see is what you get. That's how he is. It's great.
He's awesome, and yeah, that was the big thing with him when we were talking about this a couple months ago. We kind of going over with the show and all that stuff, and he's like, "We gotta have Tony Landolfi. I love him. He's the best. He's like my brother, man." I was like, "Yeah, well, definitely. I love Tony too. He's a great dude. He's, you know, staple of Long Island, because we wanted to make the Clash of the Islands, you know, Staten Island, Long Island. Yeah. So it's perfect because, you know, there's I can't think of a better Long Island comic than you. I mean, fisherman,
thank you.
And you're like a true salt of the earth Long Island guy.
Oh, thanks.
What did it look like here? Man, 7 a.m.
Forget about it. I got to tell you something, boy. I'll tell you what. This morning, you were out here. There were so many fish out here. Millions and millions and millions of fish. Fluke and all kinds of beautiful, beautiful fish. Phil Johnson, he was over here. He caught a fucking fluke. It was about 7.5 feet long. He got it with a piece of Hawaiian pineapple and maraschino cherry on it.
Wow. I appreciate that. I guess I should tell you that I just bought 5 acres of property in Floresville, Texas. But
you looking to get out of here?
Not yet. So that's just right now. It just hasn't.
Where's there to go fishing there? Do they have lakes?
There's 2 big lakes over there, and then there's the Gulf of Mexico. It's not just right outside of San Antonio.
Oh, okay.
So the Gulf of Mexico is about maybe an hour and a half drive south.
Is that something, a selling point? I know you're a big fisherman. I've seen tons of videos of you fishing there, whether it's with your dad or with like Terry or somebody like that. You're always out there kind of fishing.
Yeah.
So is that like what you look for? Like, hey, where is the nearest fishing?
That was one of the things. Fishing had to be close by. Yes, it had to be somewhat close by to make this. If there's like in the middle of the state, they'd be like, "Oh, no," because it has to be. I like freshwater fishing, but I like saltwater fishing better because there's a bigger variety and like bigger fish. So yeah, it's my dog. It's the bird farting outside.
Hey, it's Sal Governale. Welcome back to Big Meal, Small Places. Today I'm here with comedian and my cousin, Tony Landolfi. Tony, what are you making today?
Phillip? Today we're making Tony's greasy and sleazy fries.
Okay, now why are they greasy and sleazy?
You'll find out when you eat them.
And then you mentioned Sal Governale's your cousin. Were you guys always close growing up and stuff?
We were. One of the things our families did. So Sal's mom and my dad are brother and sister. And one of the things that our families did was they kept all the cousins close. So they, it's Italian thing. Everybody goes to grandma's house for dinner on Sunday. The whole family's there and everything like that. But we've always been close since we were little kids. We've always been close. There was 4 of us that were always. It was me, Sal, our cousin Alfred, and our cousin Nicky Boy. May he rest in peace. He passed away.
Oh, God bless.
But the 4 of us were like the trouble. We were the 4 boys troublemakers, always getting into some kind of hijinks or something like that.
Beautiful.
Tony's greasy and sleazy French fries. Worcestershire sauce, salt, pepper, garlic powder, pecorino romano. Oh my God. Holy cow.
Beautiful.
I thought they would be okay. They're unbelievable. Actually, I thought they would be good. They're great.
Thank you.
Mike Bichetti, get over here.
Mike Bichetti.
Mike's not supposed to be in this segment. Get over here.
Mike,
if anybody can appreciate French fries,
don't block the camera.
Okay. I'm choking on this.
Don't choke.
Eat him, you Godzilla bastard. What do you think?
Get out of here.
He wants to kiss you because he loves him.
Get out of here.
No, they're good.
Just say thank you. All right.
Now, with you and Sal, did you turn to comedy first and start doing it seriously as a thing?
Yeah,
first?
I was the first one to step in, and then it was I was in it probably about I don't know 5 years maybe, and then he was talking about it, and I said you should because he had a name. He wasn't on the Stern Show yet, but he was known on the Stern Show because he was part of that with the Whack Pack Idiots or whatever.
This is the guy.
Yeah.
Give him the microphone, guys.
Look like a stockbroker, huh?
Yeah. You're a stockbroker?
Yeah.
And what happened? You just like sitting around the office, had some free time on your hand, and you...
Well, every day when we have our breakfast, we're really supposed to be on the phones, but I listened to you.
Right.
And I said, let me call up Howard, use an alias to get on the show.
Right.
So one day, I'm personal friends with the Beastie Boys, and I know everything on the Beastie Boys. That's how it all started. So
right.
I said I was MCA, and then Gary kept screaming at me and calling me a jerk and an a-hole.
You were a Beastie Boys groupie?
Yeah, Beastie Boys groupie. I guess you could say that.
So how old are you? You seem like a young guy.
26.
26?
So I was like, you have somewhat of a name, you should capitalize on it and stuff like that. And he never did. He never used it. Clubs did. They would advertise him, as Sal the stockbroker, but he never used it to get gigs in it. He always wanted his talent to be the forefront. He never wanted, even like he stopped doing stand-up now. But when he was doing it, like he would tell whoever was bringing him up, like, don't say I'm from the Howard Stern Show. Just I'm Sal Governale. Just bring me up. And he always wanted everybody to pay attention to his comedy, which is hysterical, by the way. It kills me that he stopped doing it because he's hysterical. And he never ever rested on his laurels on being on the Stern Show. He always wanted everybody to see him as Sal Governale, not Sal from Howard Stern. So
that's interesting. Yeah, I respect that too, because when you got a regular on Stern and that huge platform, and then to say, you know what, I want to do this just on and stand on my own merits and not lean on the Stern Show or whatever.
Should be this fucking show. I had my balls licked by a man. I had my ass shot by a paintball gun. I licked Richard Christie's fucking tape, and that is less humiliating than being in this fucking dump right now.
He started out with doing like song parodies on stage, like writing these funny songs and stuff like that, and they were funny. And then it slowly snowballed into him doing stand up, and then eventually the guitar went away. He wasn't doing the guitar act anymore. He was just doing straight up stand up, and he was he was just great at it. You know, he just did just the stuff that he was doing, what he was coming up with, and just everything. Just the great presence and everything. And I just saw him evolve. When I watch him, it's like a proud dad looking at me. Meanwhile, he's a year older than me. But it's like
you have made my life complete, and I love you so.
It's like a proud dad watching his kid, you know, coming up like through whatever sport or whatever. It's a great time.
He's got layers to him because, you know, he's the person that, you know, most people might know who are Stern fans. He's really edgy, dark humor, all this stuff. But then you see him, he's a singer, and then he's and a cook.
He is not only that, he's probably one of the greatest fathers I've ever seen, which is something. I remember being at his house when they were in his garage. He was showing me something in his garage, and he had a drum set in there. Now, his oldest son, Antonio, at the time, he was probably like 8 or 9 years old, and he's just banging the shit out of these drums. This kid just bopping and banging and banging. And there's no, you know, rhythm to it, just banging and banging and banging and banging. And when he got done, he was like, I wrote that song for you, Daddy. And so I was like, thanks, buddy. That was great. It was so good, like so encouraging. And then he looks at me and he's like, hey, jerk off. I was like, what? He's like, my kid just played a song. I'm like, oh, sorry, Antonio, greatest song ever. Like, it's just great. But that's how, like, he loves he's got 3 boys. He loves them. I swear to God, like, people have no idea, like, what a great father he is to his kids. He loves his kids so much. And he's such a great dad. And it would be funny, like, I'd go pick him up and he'd, like, you know, hugging his kids. Dad loves you, blah, blah, blah. And then we'd get in the car and we'd go to the gig, and then all of a sudden, like, all this filth come out of his mouth.
Yeah, he's got.
I'd be like, what happened to that guy an hour ago?
It's like dual personalities. Yeah. And you know, and to be on, like, to do it, to succeed on Howard Stern, you had to be, especially that time when he was on there, when he was like really popping. Yeah. You know, you had to be super, super edgy.
Oh my God!
Dude, put my cock back, please! Put it back!
And would he take you with him to the Stern show?
When he became an employee over there, yeah, he took me, and when they moved to Sirius, took me over there. I was there a couple of times at K-Rock, and then I was there quite a few more times at Sirius. You know, I've met everybody from the show. They're all great people. They really are. Again, we're like the persona changes. We're on the air, you know, they're one way, but off the air, they're all really just sweet, great people. I'm glad to have met him. Made a couple of friends through him and stuff like that. And like I said, that's how I met Mikey. That's how I met Bichetti. It was one of the greatest things ever. You know.
And you met Howard Stern and all?
Yeah. I met Howard a few times. Very nice man. Extremely nice. He's a very, very, very nice person. I mean, that was probably like 10, 12 years ago.
Yeah.
Very nice man.
Legend, you know?
Yes. Great guy.
Yeah, that's super cool, man.
Mm-hmm. I'm sorry you're crying, Sal. I see you look on your face, and I know
just like, you know, I don't know. You know, I am so happy that you've made my dreams come true, but it's so bittersweet because I have 3 little boys. I don't know what to do.
Sal,
but this is not you. This is nothing. This has nothing to do with you. You again. I mean, I'm grateful for everything that you've done for us.
You got Sal, your cousin. He's with K-Rock camp and Howard Stern, and you're with the WBAB guys, kind of, Roger JP, and also, of course, Fingers, and just kind of,
We have our dog Noodles that we got through Swedish Dog Rescue, right? Which I love my dog, greatest dog ever. But we don't know what he is. He's part black lab.
Right, I have one of those too.
But we don't know what that is. He's half, so I tell everybody he's half black lab and half meth addict.
Okay.
He's a meth lab. Because all he does is run. He doesn't stop. Yeah, I know. Waka waka. Anyway. So, Karen sees online.
You are so much better than that joke.
I know. Karen sees, you know how many laughs that joke gets?
How did you get involved with BAB?
I got involved just since going back late 90s, 98, 99. Fingers and I worked together at a Ford dealership. And I knew who he was, but I never put off that I knew who he was. I was a huge fan of the show. And one day we were talking, and he was like, I heard from the guys you're a comedian. I said, yeah, because a couple of the guys that we worked with saw me. And he was like, you want to come on my show? And I was like, oh, you have a show? And he's like, no, I'm on a radio. WBAB. Go, yeah, I know. I was just messing. So I'd love to. And he was like, all right, cool. And I went on. We had fun, just fooling around and stuff like that.
2.3 WBAB, Long Island's #1 rock station. You're attending Fingers Metal Shop now.
He was like, anytime you got a gig you want to plug, come on by and this. And I said, okay. I never really abused it. But one day I had a good show coming up and I wanted to do it. So I went on with him, and he wasn't feeling well that day. Like he was feeling a little sick. He was getting like a cold or whatever. And he always did a segment called Scrap Metal.
Yeah.
It was like the news in heavy metal. It was written by the woman, Gail Flug, who worked there with us. And Gail was a reporter, and she knew everything, like just everything. So she would write it every week, and he would read it. I was there with him, and he was like, can you do scrap metal with me? He's like, I'm not feeling. I was like, yeah, definitely. So we would going back and forth with it, reading different stories, and it just so happened that the station manager at the time was listening. And the next day, he called up Fingers and was like, who's that guy on the air with? He said, it's my friend Tony. He's a comedian. He came out to do a thing, and I asked him if he wanted to hang out. He did. And he was like, I really liked his voice, and the two of you really worked well. Do you think he'd want to do it with you all the time if you don't have a problem? He was like, I have no problem with it. And then he hit me up. He's like, they want to know if you. I was like, yeah, of course. And because I'm a huge metal fan, so now I'm doing the show. I'm a fan of the show, and now I'm on the show. And now I'm meeting all these bands that I'm a fan of, and that was probably one of the greatest experiences of my life. Like I couldn't thank Fingers enough for bringing me into it. And then one day he couldn't do the show. He had a wedding or something, and he asked JP if he could fill in for him, because JP was, JP's a whole metal guy now. JP was like, yeah, this JP was the morning guy already. Like he was already established with him, Roger.
Right?
Like, yeah, I'll do it. And so that's how I met. That's how I met JP, and then him and I just, we're two of the same type of guys. Plus, he in Deer Park, he lived next door to my cousin's ex-husband, but they were married at the time. So like, we had friends in common and stuff like that.
Yeah.
We became friendly, and then he was like, "You should come on our show," and I was like, "All right, I'll come on your show," and it just snowballed into this whole thing, and it was great just to be acknowledged by you grew up on Long Island. Everybody knows BAB.
Oh man,
there's nobody on Long Island that doesn't know BAB. And then to be on the #1 radio show in the morning, on the #1 morning show on Long Island, to be a part of that and get to go on that and hang out with those guys and everything like that. They're all great guys too. Roger, he's fantastic. Brett, another great person, and JP, I love the guy. He's great guy, great friend.
Definitely shout out to WBAB. I've been rocking to those guys.
Long Island's #1 rock station is 102.3 WBAB.
We met I mean, got to meet all these guys. You know, we would do all these concerts. So like KMFDM came down. They weren't even part of it, but I got to meet them. Mushroom Head. Those
Oh
guys
yeah.
were really cool. I got to see them without their masks on. So that was before the the internet and social media. Got
Right.
to see them
Yeah.
without their masks. That was pretty cool. Overkill, Bobby Blitz, and all those guys.
Yeah. Those guys are like
Biohazard.
Biohazard legends. Yeah,
Yeah.
man.
Biohazard. Evan and I became a little friendly. But I mean, he's a nice guy too.
Evan's doing like some kind of man group thing he does now. Like it's I don't know where he lives. Like it's some kind of tropical island. But
Oh, really?
yeah, like, and he does this. I was trying to get him on this to talk to him because he does like this. It's something with man in it, but it's almost like it's for men to bond with each other.
Become manly again. Like
Yes, to become manly,
bring back masculinity.
Yes, a masculinity
So
type
it's not
of deal.
you're not toxic. It's just masculinity. Yeah, that would be.
And I wrote a book, which we're editing right now. It'll be out the end of the summer. My book is called Mentorship. It's a guide to help men connect to our truth, our purpose, our passion, build our confidence, and live better lives.
He's dipped his beak in a lot of his music. He was an actor. I know he did a little bit of porn when he was married to Tara Patrick. Stuff like that. I remember he was on Oz, and I remember when he was on Oz, and I was watching with my ex-wife. We were together at the time. And he came on. I was like, I know that guy. And she was like, you don't know him. I'm like, I'm telling you, I know that guy. That's Evan Seinfeld from Bias. I know. And then there was like a scene where they throw him in the hole and he's naked. And, she saw it. She was like, oh my God, you know him? And yeah, then I introduced it to him.
Oh, wow.
That was probably one of the worst things I ever did.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, Billy from Biohazard too. He's a great guy. It's just a lot of, like I said, I've never come across anyone who was just like total ass. They're all very grateful for what they have and what they've achieved.
Right.
Stuff
Yeah, man.
like that. And then you go down the line. Like I wish I met some of the people that Fingers. He's got pictures of him hanging out with like Kiss and Motley Crue and Metallica and stuff like that. But only guy ever I got because I just said Metallica. Dave Mustaine. He wasn't an ass. They were doing an in-store in West Babylon, and we came down. We put it together, like we advertised it and everything. And Fingers went up to him to get some stuff signed so we could give it away on the show. And he was like, "You cut the line." And he was like, "What?" And he was like, "You cut the line. There's people waiting here. You cut the line." And he was like, "Yeah, I know, but I'm running this thing for you. Like I promoted it, and I'm running this thing for you, and I have to, go back on the air and stuff. I just wanted to." He's like, "Yeah, but you cut the line." He was very upset. He was very upset that Fingers cut the line. So,
wow. Yeah,
and
Dave
Slayer,
Mustaine.
one of my favorite bands ever, Slayer, and I got to meet them, and they were all awesome. Kerry King is scary as hell. He really,
yeah, he's the real deal.
He's a very scary man.
So they came in studio. Slayer comes walking into WBAB.
They were doing an in-store. They were also doing an in-store, and
was that like Looney Tunes or someplace?
Yeah, Looney Tunes. Yes. They used to do Looney Tunes all the time. And so, we would set it up. So we would be there before the crowd we would be there setting everything up for them and everything like that. And so you got to meet everybody. That's just great.
No, that's freaking.
Yeah.
Dude.
The band I've probably seen, that's probably the band I've seen the most times ever. Like every time they came around, probably for like 10 years, every time they came around, I went and saw them. It's just amazing. I'm a huge Slayer fan.
Dude, they're great live. I used to write for Circus Magazine. I also wrote.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, and I went to. It was at Nassau Coliseum. You were probably there. It was Slayer, Pantera, and Static X opened up.
Yep, I was there.
Yeah, man.
I was there. That was not too long after. That's when Wayne passed. not too long after.
Wayne passed,
Yeah.
and then not too long after Dimebag. Also, it was like within years of each other. Like I was like, holy shit!
This another guy I got to meet that was awesome. Him and Vinny got to meet them both, and they were great people. When I heard about Dime, I wanted to cry so much.
Dude, that was crazy.
Police say they may never know the motive for last night's deadly shooting at a Columbus, Ohio nightclub. The rampage claimed the life of Dimebag Darrell Abbott, a well-known heavy metal guitarist from Arlington.
Thing that went down, but and that's when you feel like, you know, looking back now, how fortunate we got to see him live and see him play. And I was in the photo pit too. I used to take some pictures, and Dimebag, you know, he was just walking by, and he gave me a finger.
Oh, nice.
The picture's blurry, but I gotta dig that up and see if I can fix it now all these years later. But yeah,
that's cool.
Yeah, that was awesome, dude.
Yeah, you could probably fix it now with all the technology that's out there.
Yeah, I gotta find it, man, because it was cool. It wasn't even digital; it was old school film cameras back in those days. And,
yeah,
I mean, this must have been early 2000s, maybe late 90s. You know,
I did get to interview Phil Anselmo, but we did it over the phone. I never got to meet him in person. And about I don't know, 8-9 years ago, Karen and I were in New Orleans, and he has a haunted house out there I wanted to go to, but we didn't have time. We wanted to go. I wanted to go see it though. Yeah.
I met Phil once briefly backstage at Ozfest. He was just walking around. I didn't want to interrupt him, but I went, Phil, what's up? He's he literally just grunts.
Yeah. Sometimes it's weird. Like you want to say something, but they're like, oh no.
Yeah.
I don't want to bother them. You know, that's how I am. Some people.
Yeah, I
Nearly will just run up to them. Don't care. Man, I got a picture. And then he hangs them on his apartment wall.
Yeah, I try not to, like, especially out in public. I try not to bother celebrities or you know, anybody, you know, like that.
No.
But if I'm if the timing is right, like if I'm in the radio show, like what you were doing after the interview, I'd be like, "Hey guys, let's take a group picture."
Well, that's just they know it's coming. It goes
right.
Like, it's just like, you know, they'll even say it. All right, so we're gonna do the picture over here,
right? Yeah,
because they know it's coming.
Exactly, man.
Because they got to hang it up. You know, the radio station hangs it up or whatever where they're doing it.
Right on, man. But that's awesome, dude. You know what a career you have. It's still going. You're still kicking ass and doing your thing. Before I let you go, though, I do have to hear about this Captain Kangaroo story, because Captain Kangaroo, Captain Kangaroo, Long Island, I guess a Long Island legend morning show guy. He had a hit show for our generation when we were kids.
Good morning.
Good morning, Captain. Let's come on out and play. Wake up the sunshine and share this friendly day.
Kids morning show. Captain Kangaroo just compete with Sesame Street and Mr. Rogers and stuff like that. He was on Channel 2, CBS, every morning.
Yeah.
No.
Oh, this is great. This is great. More.
So my dad, who is an Italian immigrant from the other side, when he came here in 1964. I think he was like 23 years old or something. Got a job doing road construction. That's what he was doing. And they were working in Babylon. And at the time, Bob Keeshan, a.k.a. Captain Kangaroo, he lived there. He had a house down there. And they were working in front of his house. And apparently there was dirt or something at the end of his driveway. There was like a little pile of dirt off to the side at the end of his driveway, or on his grass or something like that. And he came out very pissed off, Captain Kangaroo, and decided the guy he was going to yell at about it was my dad. He was screaming in my dad's face about it, everything like that, calling him all sorts of names and everything. Apparently my father just took as much as he could and got to the braking limit and grabbed the shovel and tried to, you know, crack him upside the head. So he's chasing Captain Kangaroo down the block with a long handle spade shovel until finally a bunch of guys that he worked with grabbed him and held him back. But he came home from work that day, and my dad was always pissed off. So this was even more angry than whenever he came to me and he was like, "You watching that Captain Kangaroo?" And I was like, "Sometimes." Watch him ever again in this. I go, "All right. I don't ever want to see him on the television. Ever. You never watching that piece of shit again. All right, all right, all right."
Oh, that's awesome.
And then he had some dinner and calmed down, and then he explained why he was so angry at Captain Kangaroo.
That's great. I wonder if the captain was wearing his red coat when he came out.
Apparently, he was in his bathrobe. Is what Paul said. He was in his bathroom.
Well, we do thank you for spending some time with us today. We hope it's been a nice visit, and we look forward to seeing you next time. All right? Good.
I've heard stories of people that said that like he would go to Atlantique on the weekends and hang out in the bar and like try to pick up like girls like in their mid-20s. Hey, you remember me? I'm Captain Kangaroo. I don't know if there's any truth to it, but that's stories I've heard from more than one person about the old Bob Keeshan.
Yeah, but I remember when I was a kid, I had family in Babylon. Well, they were friends of the family, but they said Captain Kangaroo lives up the block. And I remember wanting to go to his house and just knock on the door and all that stuff. We never did, thank God. He probably would have,
I would have yelled at you.
Yeah.
Apparently, he was not a big fan of children, but he's just whatever you got to do to make the money, I guess.
Have you noticed I never learn?
I don't know. I was loyal to Sesame Street.
Yeah, and the Electric Company. Yeah, I was
Electric Company and Mr. Rogers. He was genuine.
Mr. Rogers, man.
Yeah.
They don't have the guys like that anymore.
Nah, they're all. What was I saw something on TV. Steve, the guy from Blue's Clues. He has a band that he tours with. He's got a rock band.
Really?
And he tours with. Apparently they kick ass.
Steve is rocking out.
Yeah, Steve rocking. He sings a theme song to some show. I can't remember what show it was, but it's like a hard song.
Damn.
Yeah, apparently they're right. Yeah, Steve from Blue's Clues. Yeah.
I gotta check that out.
Yeah.
If I check it out and I find the clip, it's gonna be played right now.
Yeah, put it in there.
Tony, then this was great. I appreciate you taking the time, man. I'm looking forward to July 19th and seeing you up there and rocking the house, bro. Tell everybody where they could find you and follow you and get your tour dates and everything you got going on.
I'm on Facebook like everybody else. I just got Facebook and Instagram. I'm on Instagram. It's Tony Landolfi, bitches. That's what it is. Because I had a Instagram page that got hacked, so my new one is Tony Landolfi, bitches. But also I have a problem because back in the day, there was a kid. He was like the Italian Justin Bieber. He was in Italy. He was like and his name was Tony Landolfi. So for a while, like I was getting friend requests from like these underage Italian girls. I'm like, what is going on? And then I figured it out. I'm like, don't these girls look at a profile picture? Like that's
great.
It looks like So yeah, Tony Landolfi, bitches on Instagram and Twitter or X or whatever they call it now. And yeah, Tony Landolfi on Facebook. That's about it.
Excellent. Well, check him out, everybody. Tony Landolfi, bitches. No, dude, you rock. This was great, man. Thank you so much, everybody. Check him out.
Don, thanks so much for having me, man. I really appreciate it. I had such a great time. I cannot wait for July 19th. It's going to be, so we got a month and a day, right? For today's, yeah. So a month and a day. It's going to be fantastic. Seeing you and seeing my boy Mikey. I haven't seen him in a long time, so it's going to be great to see him and everybody else that's on the show. It's going to be a great time, great show. Can't wait.
Man. Looking forward to it. You rock, my brother. Tony
Thanks, bro.
Landolfi,
So do you.
everybody. Thanks, man.
All right, man. Have a good one.
You
Take care,
too.
man.
Peace.